You know, I was wrong about Halo Infinite. I'm so happy to say it, I was wrong. The game made a comeback, or at least it's making a comeback. After, I guess, Season 2, I thought that there was pretty much nothing that 343 could do to get people interested in the game again, but I was wrong. Halo Infinite is on the up and up, and today's mid-season update continued to prove that. I don't know what's caused this revamp of Halo's progress as an online service, whether it was due to 343 sort of cleaning house of upper management, whether it was due to changing release schedules. Either way, keep it up. So today, Halo Infinite just released a brand new update. You can find all the specific details on Halo Waypoint, but here are some of the highlights. The big thing is that they've now added firefight into the game. Now, there is, I believe, in the custom games a basic firefight system, but right now the big highlight is Firefight King of the Hill. I'm going to spend most of the video talking about that, so let's just move on. The new piece of equipment is the repair field. What I like is that, like the Shroud or whatever it's called, this is what Waypoint calls a neutral piece of equipment. You fire the repair field and it heals and repairs anything within its vicinity. Not unlike the healer from Halo 3, but additionally, speaking of Halo 3, the Halo 3 playlist has been made permanent. This is excellent. I love the Halo 3 maps. I've had so much fun playing this playlist, especially since they moved it to BRs. There have also been changes made to Forge, ranked playlists, and I think most importantly for a lot of people, Halo Infinite now has a new networking system, which, and I quote, has been implemented into Halo Infinite and will be tested in the Firefight King of the Hill playlist, as PvE is a safer environment for us to test this overhauled system at scale. For me personally, I've noticed that things seem very smooth in King of the Hill, which is kind of remarkable given that you'll see a ton of enemies on screen at one point. Either way, just an excellent update. I've really been enjoying it so far. What I would like in pretty much every update, and to be fair, this isn't an entire new season, is a new weapon and a new map. Even if it's just a weapon variant, I think that should be sort of the basic level of expectation, alongside usually at least a new experience. The store seems to be selling well, so I do think that they can probably afford to keep development going at full speed. But let's talk Firefight King of the Hill. And is this a perfect experience in Halo Infinite? No. But I do think it is the first step to what could be a really interesting aspect to the game. I want to see Halo Infinite, alongside its PvP section, continue to develop a PvE experience. So in Firefight King of the Hill, there's basically two playlists. There's Heroic King of the Hill and Normal. Heroic just being more difficult. Like, you'll face off against bosses from the campaign, which is really cool. You'll face off against enemies using the variant weapons, also pretty cool. You'll play with a team of 4. One of my main problems is difficulty. I've played about 5 games. So far, we've not lost. Firefight should be difficult. Right now, it's not, and that's not because I'm a sick Halo player. You guys can see my gameplay. I'm pretty good. Better at PvP than PvE, I'd say, but it needs to be difficult. This is step 1. They'll ramp it up totally fine. I'm not worried. Right now, there are 9 maps. 3 of them are Forge maps. 1 is the House of Reckoning from the campaign. The other ones are maps from the multiplayer, which I think is a good compromise. How it works is you play a normal firefight game, essentially, with different waves of enemies while also having to capture a hill. You win the game by capturing the hill 5 times. Theoretically, the Covenant can capture and hold the hill. I've come very close to seeing that happen, but I haven't yet. I don't know whether the only way to lose is to have your squad completely wiped out. I don't know if that actually is a loss or if the Covenant actually have to take 5 hills. My guess is either one is one way you can lose. I think it plays very well. The maps generally work well. I was surprised to see the Covenant actually using like vantage points on the map, like the sniper tower on live fire. That was a pleasant surprise. There were some issues though, small ones though, small improvements that I think would come together to make a much better experience. For one, scoring. Right now you only get points for kills. That's a little disappointing. I played one match where I completely ran a dude's score up by several tens of thousands of points as a Warthog driver. I got nothing for that. I personally don't really care, but I think eventually they want to do a better job of tying XP to overall success in game, and they do track assists. You can actually see it in the end screen, so let's award points for that, or partial damage of enemies. On that note as well, one of the really great things about Firefight is that it puts you in a chaotic Halo experience where you're trying to hold down and survive. I think King of the Hill captures that somewhat. Naturally, the changing bases of King of the Hill makes you move around a bit more, so you can't fully try to like hold hold in, set your base up. I think that's okay. But what they should do a better job of doing is making the enemy attack in interesting ways. And there are sort of methods you can use to accomplish this. Right now, the Covenant don't really use vehicles. On one map, I saw them using the dropship pretty aggressively. That was really cool, but I'd like to see vehicles sort of used more frequently in the mode overall. Like after the Warthog died that one time we were playing with it, it didn't respond back. Playing in a map like Live Fire should be hugely different than playing in an outside map. I also think generally, I mentioned difficulty, but the experience needs to be a bit more open-ended, but also closed off. What do I mean by that? Well, right now, when you die, you respawn after a minute. I think the respawn timer actually increases as you play. That needs to change. I think the pool of live system works much better, especially in Halo ODST, where you could earn bonus lives during especially difficult waves. Right now, there needs to be more to break up the monotony of just kind of enemy after enemy. You can do that by having waves which are themed. Like I remember in Halo ODST, there'd be a wave of just suicide grunts and it was total fun. You could have a wave with how advanced the AI are, where they're dropping wraiths and they won't come to you. They will just sit back and shell and you've got to attack them. That would be really interesting. It would make you change your play style. Also, I don't like just ending after a win. I think after you reach that 5th hill, there should be a function where the enemy just keeps coming until you lose. It should drastically ramp up in difficulty, and that's not something we saw. Like even on heroic, they do add skulls, but never more than 2 at a time, and it seemed to always be the same too. Let's change that. Let's just make things a bit wackier, a bit more of a different experience, and this is all just kind of forward-facing stuff. I know this is day one. This is sort of the preliminary mode of what comes next. I do think we need a full firefight playlist. I would play that all the time. They just need to do a bit more to add variation into the game, in my opinion. One of the great things is that this is all forgeable, and there's the full node controller within Forge. I truly believe that the community is going to create some incredible firefight modes, and 343 has been completely willing to take the best ideas from the community and insert them directly into the game, which is what we all want. There's no way that a studio, even a large one like 343, can match the total output of all the Halo fans across the world. Like, I can imagine a really cool base building firefight mode where as you progress, you can buy structures and turrets and auto refilling weapons. By the way, I did see some of the weapon ammo pods from the campaign on the map, which was cool. Maybe even spawn in Marines. That's possible. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this and more down below. It's an exciting time for Halo Infinite. I'm fully involved. I had a ton of CSR. I'm spending it now to reward them for their good behavior. But again, let me know your thoughts down below.